Hello everyone, my name is Priscilla. My husband's name is Rui. We are a couple from, of course we are, because he's my husband. We are a couple from Braga originally, and last year we decided to sell our house and buy some land, and we wanted to build an earthship, but it was something that was going to take too long. We had to leave the house. We had a deadline to leave. So after looking into some options, we decided to buy shipping containers and convert them to a house. We would have a lower shipping container, and the other one would be just over the lower one a little bit, to create like a patio on the outside underneath it, to serve the small living room that we were gonna have. We are gonna have, not past. We still will. So it's been a very long journey, a very hard journey, because nobody believes in us. Our family is against us, even though that my husband's grandma is helping us every month with a little bit of money, so that we can finish buying the last things we need just for the basic. So much has happened, so much. As it's expected, we found some bumps on the way. We've been plowing through it, and a lot of things have been happening in the last month. Our cat ran away. We took a whole week to find her. We almost didn't sleep, and while Rui was working, I was searching. When he was on breaks and lunch, that's dinner break, we would go outside. We wouldn't eat. We just ate some bread with some cheese, just to full the hunger. We would go to bed like at 3 a.m, wake up at 9, go look for her, post posters, talk to people. I don't know. It was like an adventure. In the end, she just showed up that day in the afternoon. I decided to scream her name with all my might, and she showed up. We had a friend that is an animal communicator, and she was helping us through it. I was able to connect also. It was very interesting. I saw a picture of a grid, very, very clear. And the day that she showed up in the afternoon, we went to spread some more posters and talk to some more people. And we stopped at the conjunction of some streets. And I looked forward, and the grid was there, exactly as I saw it. It was like an amazing moment, although it was not fruitful. It was amazing because it also coincided with the conjunction that she had seen, my friend had seen, where she thought the cat was. So it was, well, it was a bad experience, but it was also something good. And what I have been learning is that every bad experience has a good side. The good side of this one, the cat running away, she came back fat, so she was fine. She was intact, nothing happened to her, she's neutered. And she ran because some family came over to visit, and they were not very careful. But, well, everything ended up being okay. And a lesson learned is for me not to give up on my dream of animal communication. So, moving forward, 2 days after she came home, on last Friday, we had some errands to run. We went to the vet, and it's like half an hour away from here. Everything is half an hour away from here. We live on a little village, and our land is in the next village over. So we went to the vet with the dogs. They had something very strange. Shiva was always forming some sleep in her eyes, and I was scared that it could be I forget the name, also in Portuguese. So um, conjunctivitis. But it wasn't. It was something much more interesting, not funny, but interesting. It was worms. Some mosquito landed on the dog's eyes, and they were infested with worms, like super thin, like hair thin worms. And that was something new to learn. I never thought that that existed. And that was another expense, a large one for us. But that's fine. My dogs come first, always, and my cats. They have been dewormed now, and they will repeat the deworming in a week. Also, my dog Maybe is having some upper airways infection, but it's being taken care of. So that is that. When we were coming home, we stopped to eat a quick lunch. We are vegetarians, so here it's a little bit difficult to eat vegetarian food along the street, but we found a really cool restaurant that serves us very nice fries. So yeah, sometimes we have fries for lunch, like homemade fries, not McDonald's fries. And it was kind of like, it was 3:30 in the afternoon when we came by the crossing on the street where we could decide if we would go up the street to our land, or further down the street to our home. And it was so freaking hot, so Hui said, let's go home and we'll come back later. And I said, okay, I'm so tired, let's do something at the house, our house. And around 7 o'clock we headed to our land. It was a little bit cooler. We are having an issue with water because we had running water from our neighbor's land, and one day it just stopped. We don't know if it's if it has air in the tubes, or if it's just something is plugging it, or the water is just gone, because everyone's well is drying up around here. So that is that. We have been watering our stuff. It's not too much, it's just some potatoes and some watermelons and the little yellow ones, I don't know the name in English. So every day, or almost every day, depending on how hot it is, we fill up at least 10 of these 5-liter jugs, and we put them in the car and we go there, we water the land, we check if everything is fine, we come back home. It looks like someone has been watching us, also because Leah likes to bark when we travel in the car and go to the land, because she gets very excited about the land. They all love it so much. So we headed out at around 7 in the afternoon, and when we got there, it's like a little main street, a tarred main street, and we then have an exit to the right to our land that is a dirt path, and blocking half of the path was an old car, very well kept, with 2 ladies inside talking on the phone. And Hui was like, oh my god, I wonder if they are okay, if they are lost, if they need help, if they have phone service here. Do you think we should go and talk to them? And I was like, heck no, something is happening. They are blocking the path. They could have parked anywhere else. They were like, the street goes up that way, and they were parked down, so they were counterhand, I don't know how it's said in English. And I hauled ass up that path. When we got there, I saw the container, the lower container was open, and I was like, did you leave the door open? And Hui was like, no, we didn't even touch the containers yesterday, we didn't open them. And I was like, oh my god, we were robbed. So I stopped the car, I went to the upper container. The door wasn't closed, it was just leaning, almost closed. When I opened it, I almost died. I lost 10 years of my life instantly. I couldn't cry, I was hyperventilating. I could only take my phone, dial the equivalent of 911, and ask for help. They were amazing. They said they couldn't do anything. I needed to call the police. And I was like, I don't know their number. I do now. So Rui said, just go down to the village and ask for help. So I went. I took the dogs with me because Rui wasn't being able to handle it because the girls were just running around. They were calm, but Rui wasn't. I wasn't. I was hyperventilating all the way. I was like trying to calm myself down because when I hyperventilate, my hands lock, my mouth locks open, and I can't move very well. So I was just trying to relax in the middle of all of this with a car full of dogs. Funny enough, they were kind of calm. Usually they bark all the time and try to come to the front seat, but they were calm. So I got up to the guy who sold us the land. I parked in his driveway. I honked. No one came. I went to the door. I was crying. I was fuming. I was dying. I was wanting to kill someone. So I knocked and knocked and knocked. They finally came out. They saw me in a state. They asked what was happening. I told them. I asked him who could have done this. He said, I don't know. He is the president of the village, so he knows. And he helped me call the police. The police came. We went up to the land, and they were just looking around. They couldn't do anything. They called like a CSI team, but not so much CSI, like in the middle of police and CSI, something. So they came. They took pictures. They walked inside. I was a little bit calmer, but still, well, at this point I was crying a lot and cursing a lot and wishing death upon some people. And I went inside with them, and I noticed that the solar panels were there. So at least that. They didn't come for the solar, they came for the generator and had the time of their lives. It was like Christmas for them when they saw what I had in materials. The reason why we still haven't started construction, like placing everything, is because we were waiting for the soldering guy, the welder. We were waiting for the welder to come to cut the first hole for the first window. That's the bedroom window. Because I need that window to be in place because the walls are corrugated, not flat. And I need to center it as best as possible because I'm going to use the oh my god sorry, I'm going to use the plate that comes out, the wall that comes out, to make like a shutter to protect the window and keep light outside and such and such. And I need that to be in absolute place, the best place for me to be able to calculate the rest of the window placements, the door placements, the cabinetry, everything. So we have been waiting. What happens is that it's like vacation time. The immigrants are coming back home to visit, to spend some time, and the welder works at something else, and he welds on his free time for some extra cash, of course. And I understand that he can do quick jobs for more money than he would be making with me. He gave me a really good price per hour, and he can make a lot more with these quick jobs. So he's been setting us back and saying next week, next week, next week, and we like pled with him, please come, please set up just this window. We need this window to be able to do at least half the container, because the one of the sides of the container doesn't have any windows, just the kitchen door. It's the only opening on that side. And he said, yeah, next week I'll go. He never came. He was the only person that knew I had the generator in there. He used it. And he was gloating about it to some guy in his workshop in front of me. I'm a very outspoken person. and I never settled. But that time I was silent. I didn't know what to say to a person that was exposing my assets, the contents of my container. I trusted him, and I don't know who else he told about this. I don't know if the other guy told someone. I don't know if another person saw anything, because we had a drop off one day and the guy might have seen the contents, so I can't say who did what. It could have been like not related and just have been like the gypsy that we have in the village that lives in Spain all of the year and comes round in August when the immigrants are here and relax on security on their homes, because they have the homes closed all year, and just open them up when they come. So they relax. They go out for coffees and for food and for fun, and they don't lock up as much, so they rob everything like in full daylight. They have scouts, like the women in the car, that alert them if someone comes. They are smart and they are experienced, and they go back to Spain, they take everything there and sell it there. So 1 month of work keeps them all year, and they still get like government subsidies to live, and they collect them in Portugal, Spain and France at the same time, so they have a fucking shit ton of money. So we got there, we found the women on their phone. We got there, the containers were open, everything was gone. I don't even know everything that I had in there, because we had been collecting stuff since March. We settled the containers in March, and we started piling up the construction materials in there. I know it's August, 5 months, but believe me, every day has been a challenge. My husband works and he gets off really late in the evening. Sometimes he works for free, finishing up calls like an extra half an hour, or sometimes even an hour, very exceptionally even more. So we never go to bed before 2 a.m. and we get up like at 9, sometimes at 10, because we need to sleep 8 hours, and the rest of the time we just do what needs to be done around the house, and we go water the plants like I explained. We have some trees there that we managed to bring from our old house, and the time goes by so quickly, because then we need to come home and cook lunch, eat, and he goes to work. I spend my afternoons while he works researching, contacting people, doing stuff related to this project, and then I convey everything I learn to him when I can. So at this point we have lost around 15,000 euros. This is all the money we don't have, because we sold our house, we paid the bank, and everything that we made of profit, we invested here. We bought the land, we bought the containers. We had budgeted the containers for 3,000 euros when we listed the house for sale, and when we went to buy them they cost 7,200 euros. That's the price climb in just a few months, and this happened with everything. So when I planned for this, when I planned for materials and everything, I didn't plan to pay double for everything, so that's why we are cleaned out. So my husband's family has been helping. My family can't help. They are as poor as me. I'm not poor. We can eat, we can pay bills, we are happy. We can support the dogs and the cats. That's all that matters to us. We are not consumers. We just want to live life. The consumerism stage is long gone. We want freedom. We want just to be healthy and happy. So his family has been helping every month. Of course, they can't give us all the money that we need to finish everything, so we just have to go by month, and every time his grandma helps us, I plan the money the best way possible to buy the most materials we can. We have been buying things slowly, and we have been storing everything in the containers because we don't have another place. We can't afford to rent another place. We thought the containers were safe. We had a camera, but we brought the camera home to look for Luna when she went missing. We set it up outside to see if we could detect an emotion. Nothing happened. And we were so tired when she came back that we didn't remember to put the camera back. I don't think that the camera would have helped because they stole what they stole in 10 minutes. Even if the camera had beeped, even if I had called, well, we would have faces or license plates or something. We would. There's no use in crying over spilled milk. And there are lessons to be learned even with the worst situations like this. This has made me rethink everything and come in touch with some feelings that I needed to come in touch with and make some decisions in my life. I have been wanting to start this channel for so long. It's been created in 2018, I believe, or 19. So from here you can see how long I have been postponing everything. I was always afraid of what people would think about me because I'm fat. I don't care anymore. If I were thin, people would still criticize me. If I were a supermodel, people would still criticize me. So I can't be worried about people anymore. I need to live my life and do what I want to do. I want to be happy. I want to be free. I want to be careless about what other people think. So I started the channel. It didn't start on the note that I wanted because I had so much footage to show everything that we had done so far, because we have done everything on our own. We have carried all the materials alone, and it was an odyssey, let me tell you, to carry 84 sheets of plywood, just the two of us. At the end of it, I was dying. I almost shat my pants from a decompression, like my blood pressure dropped and I almost fainted, and it was amazing. But it was an adventure, and it's on record, and I wanted to share everything, and I wanted to start the channel earlier, also to maybe get some supporters, people helping us with some money, and maybe some brands supporting us. But I thought, if I start sharing this, someone somewhere will know where I am and will know what I have inside the containers. So I thought, I'm gonna hold back a little bit and wait until some more stuff is done, at least until the welder comes, so that we can start applying the materials, wiring the house, all of that. You already know the story. You already know how it went. Not good. So, I'm not going to be a victim. I want to be a fighter. The moment I opened that container door, I wanted to die. I suffer from depression and anxiety, and about 6 years ago, or about 7 years ago, I was laying in a bed and I was sleeping 20 hours a day. It was painful to open my eyes, and no one cared. No one medically inclined cared that I was like that. They were pushing pills. I didn't take too many medications, but I was taking some. Also for thyroid, because I have hypothyroidism. And I was so miserable. I went to bed thinking about dying. I woke up thinking about dying. And for the very little time that I was awake, I was thinking about dying. It's not a good thing. No, it's not a happy place. And I was asking for help, and my doctor just didn't care. She said, just take the pills that I sent you. And one day, I don't know what happened, I woke up, I dragged myself to the computer, and I searched for my symptoms to see who else was suffering from the same. And I found a forum with loads of information about vitamin deficiency. And oh my god, that was my story all over the boards. And I was like, this is gonna end today. My depression is gonna end today. I'm not gonna feel sad anymore, and I'm gonna change everything. It was a little bit of a long path. I was suffering also from EMF poisoning, because we had a smart meter inside the house, and at the time I had absolutely no idea what it was and what it did to me. We also had a satellite dish, and the modem was inside the house, very close to my room. On the other side of the street was an electric pole, one of those metal ones that are, well, the main ones that produce more discharge. I don't know how to say it. So I was living in a triangle of death, basically. So my guardian angel is like awesome. When I meet him, I gotta hug him so tight because he saved me so many times, and this was another time where he gave me some strength to look for what I was suffering from, and I managed to get a little better. So from sleeping 20 hours a day, we moved to our own house. At the time we had like, I don't know, maybe 10 cats, and Shiva has been my guardian angel also. And when we got Shiva from the shelter, she had a super best friend that was Pixie, but at the time, no, I'm sorry, I'm lying. This was from the other house to this one that I'm talking about. Pixie was already with us. We moved to this house to be able to go and get Pixie. It took us a year to find a house with some conditions, good conditions to have the two dogs. And we got Pixie and we had the two. Yeah. So we found a house, a really nice one. Not perfect, but really nice, in a nice place, close to everything and far away from everything at the same time. We had peace and quiet there. And I started getting better, but also I started having some trouble to sleep at night. So at this point I found some Facebook groups, and in one of them I found a lot of information and someone that helped me feel a lot better. I started taking supplements and I stopped taking everything else. No more of the depression medication. I also stopped my hypothyroid medication. I started supplementing with Lugol. That's iodine with something mixed in, I don't know for sure. But I researched at the time, so no worries. And selenium, because you need to take them together. I also started really supplementing the D3 and K2, M7K2 vitamin. And my life changed. It still wasn't perfect. I still had a little bit of depression sometimes. Life is not perfect, and it's like a chemical imbalance, I think. But I started feeling a lot better. And I stopped gaining weight, because I was gaining weight on the medication. And I was able to think again, and to finish a sentence, and to finish a thought. It was so awesome. It was so awesome, because at the time that I was sleeping 20 hours a day, when Hui talked to me, my husband, I would stop mid-sentence, and he was like, aren't you gonna finish? And I said, finish what? And he said, you were talking. And I would say, I was not. So you can see how I was. So, since this point where we moved into this house, we started talking about leaving everything behind, buying maybe an RV, and changing our lifestyle to something simpler, more in connection with the land. And when COVID hit, we were already thinking about selling the house and buying some land. So last year we finally took the plunge, put the house on the market. It sold in a week. There were a little bit of bank issues with the buyers. It took a little bit longer because the bank was taking some time to approve the credit. Not because of the buyers, but because the banks were on holidays and stuff like that. It was exactly a year ago. So they were on holidays and stuff. They were understaffed. About November, we finally sold the house. We got the money. And we already had this land worded with the guy that was selling it. That was also an ordeal to find this land. It was funny. It was funny because I wanted to be at this place that we are now, and we came to see if we could find something for sale, because online there was nothing for sale. I lie. There was a land for sale, and we came to see it, and we had to find this guy with a specific name. And when we came to the village, we said, where can we find this guy? And they said, oh, he lives just there. And we went there. It was the same name but not the same guy. Turns out he was related to me. Very distant relation, but was related. And I told him, we are here to see this land. And he said, don't bother. It's not a good place. And it wasn't. It had a lot of electrical cables running over and near it. You could hear it hum when we would go there. We went there to see it. You could hear it hum. So he said, well, I have some land for sale and I have a house for sale. You want to see it? And yeah, let's go see it. The land was awesome. It had a river going through it, and I was in love because it had like a front space of land, and it had a back place hidden by vegetation, and that was perfect to place some mobile homes or something like that. It had a river nearby. It was amazing. It was a little bit too expensive for us. He showed us another place. I almost fainted there, so that was not for me. Like energy lines and stuff, not for me. And then he showed us a house, but it wasn't really that. We wanted something that was more detached. We wanted to be really off-grid. And we said, well, we'll take the land. It's a little bit too much for us, but we'll take it. We'll manage. And he said, oh, I can't sell it because it's like family issues. I don't know where my cousin is. It's inheritance, and I want to sell it, but I don't know where he is if he wants to sell it. And I said, F this. And then he said, but my son-in-law has a house for sale. Let me show it to you. And I was like, oh my god. It was an old house. It needed some care, like new roof, new electricity, new water lines, pipes, and it had a really big piece of land attached to it. It had a well, and I was like, damn yeah. At that time, we wanted to start a really small community. It was like a family community, and I said, well, I'll take the underside and transform it into a very large bedroom with a bathroom. but if I transform the kitchen upstairs, I can't transform a kitchen downstairs. I don't have enough money for that. So I will be using the kitchen upstairs, but you can have all the rooms for you and for your kids, and all you have to pay for are the windows, to change the windows for like efficient windows for thermal protection. And the person said, you want to control everything, so I will be leaving. And I said, what? And she said, yeah, forget it. Meanwhile, the owner calls us and says, oh my god, there's so much history with that house. My father built it with his own hands, and my uncle died there. And I was like, what? Your uncle died in the house? And she was like, yeah, so we want 30,000 more euros. And I said, well, for starters, the house isn't worth that much, even with the land. The house needs a lot of fixing up. Also, I put my house on sale, accounting for the price that you gave me, because this was at that time when I put the house for sale, when I found this house. So even if I had the money, I wouldn't pay it to you, because I have only one word and you can't be changing yours. So if you do that, good luck. And she was like, okay, yeah. She kind of insulted me over the phone, and I said, yeah, fine, well, whatever, keep it. I will find something else. And at that time, I don't know how we were back here, because she said she didn't want to sell it anymore, so I don't know. We were back here. I think I was showing the house to my husband because he didn't come with us when we went to see it first. And then that happened, and I was trying to negotiate with the guy that was here. His sister was abroad working, and her daughter was the one who told me all that stuff. So we were looking at the house, trying to negotiate it back into the original price. They said no, blah blah blah, and I was desperate because we had already spent so much money traveling back and forth to come here, because this was like 200 kilometers away from our house at the time. And I was so sad. So I put my hands on the steering wheel and I said, let my guardian spirits take me right now to the person that is gonna show me a solution. And I just went. We took a path we never took before, and we ended up at this guy's house. He was on the phone outside because he didn't have connection inside. It was like fate. We asked him, do you know anyone who has some land for sale? And he said, yeah, me. Okay, show it to me. He first showed us a really small plot in the center of the village, and he looked at me and he saw that I wasn't so happy about it. And he said, yeah. And I said, yeah, we are kind of looking for something a lot bigger and more away from anyone else, like off-grid. And he said, yeah, I have some land like that, but there's no electrical running, no sewage, and no company water. And I said, I'll take it. We went to see it, and we fell in love. Because when we went to see it, it was like autumn was starting. Autumn is my favorite season. And you cannot imagine, oh my god, you cannot imagine the views. It was like a living picture. So we fell in love, and we decided it was for us. And then it started. Everything started there. We settled on the price. We agreed to buy. We told him we still didn't have the money because the house was sold, but we still hadn't got the amount, the full amount. He said, that's okay, I'll hold it for you, I only have one word. And he did. And that's it. That's how we got here. And now and now we need Some help from our off-grid friends, our permie friends, to be able to get back up on our feet. My husband works full-time for minimum wage. Minimum wage is like 700 euros in Portugal. That's enough for us to pay rent, eat, pay bills, feed the dogs and the cats, and put some gas in the car to be able to go to the land, and not much more. So well, let me first explain something. The money that his grandma was giving us is lent money, not given. We were going to give it back as soon as we were living there. We wouldn't have a rent to pay or bills to pay, so we would be able to, in about a year, pay her back. And then this happened. And if the shock was not enough to be like, for someone to slip the rug from under us like that, it hurts a lot. And we already had a guy coming over to drill a well. He had already started, but he didn't find the veins. But another guy came and found them, so he was coming over this week. He already started drilling, and he already had the materials for the well. So now, yeah, we had that money on worth, and now they say no. So you lost everything, you will lose some more. And I say, I'm not gonna be a victim, I'm gonna be a fighter. I can tell you something. I have never been so certain about a thing in my life. And although that night I went on Facebook and said I wanted to die, because I did want to die that night, the next morning I woke up feeling a different person. I had a different energy and different motivation, and people started saying, I'm gonna help you. Well, not a lot of people have helped, just a little bit, like 100 something euros that were given to us. I'm not complaining, it's 100 and something more euros than I had the day before. But of course it's not enough, because we need 15,000 just to make up and just to go back to the level that we were on before. I won't be putting anything back into the containers, at least not without having some proper security. I had a brilliant idea to lock the container. I had been thinking about this for months. How can I lock the container from the inside? And after it was robbed, the idea came. And I'm not going to share it because, well, I can share it in private if you message me. I'm not going to share it in public because everyone will know how to open it. But I think it's brilliant, and it's so simple. So, if you feel sympathetic for us, if you can feel our pain, and if you want to help us by donating a little bit or a lot, we lost everything. We can't even work the field at this time without just bare hands. They took our gloves, they took all our tools, our shovels, our I don't know the names in English because I'm very tired right now and my memory is failing me a little bit because I know all of this, but it's failing me right now. I'm sorry, but you know what I mean. You work with the land and you know it. They took everything, and everything was brand new. Brand new. They won't be having any trouble fencing everything because everything was packaged and packed. Everything was in boxes and in plastic, and breathe in, breathe out. But like I said, not everything is totally bad. This was a lesson learned, a lot of lessons that I'm taking out of this, and I think that there are some more to learn, but that's Shiva. That is Shiva. Yeah, my baby, my first dogita. She's been with me for 9 years now. It's gonna be 9 years. No, it's been 9 years. She's 9 years old. And she's been with me since she was like 4 months old. She's my baby. She's been with me everywhere. We take them everywhere because they're our babies. We love them so much. So, again, if you want to help us with a little bit or a lot, I would be so very thankful for a new opportunity to regrow and do things a little bit better now. If you want to share our channel, share this video with your friends, your family, with strangers on Facebook and on Telegram and wherever you want. Please do so. We need all the help that we can get right now. Most of you know what is coming and that it's coming soon. We don't have much time to rebuild or to regroup because nothing was built. So please, please, please help us a little bit. I'm gonna try also some ideas that I had, maybe to contact the brands that I had bought to see if they are willing to sponsor us. Our channel is very small still, but I think that as soon as we start sharing our journey and our work, I think that it will grow more. The channel is not just about this is Mia. The channel is not just about permaculture and building the house, converting the containers. I want this channel to be about everything that's real, and this that we are going through, I know that more people have gone through, and this could also be a heads up for other people that are in similar situations, not to go through this, to save themselves from this. Another lesson is that we are vulnerable there and we need to rethink security. That is a good lesson to have been learned before something bad happened, really bad happened. There's a fly going around. So I want my channel to be something that is like not picture perfect house, no dust, you know? I want this to be about truth and about hurt and about happiness and about achievement and about loss and about all of that, so that, yeah, people can relate, because that's what life is about, not just success, not just about perfection. I'm a perfectionist. That's like a hindrance for me. It's been setting me back for so many years. I want everything to be perfect before I start. That is another lesson to be learned. Don't wait. Just let the flyaways fly. Catch the ones that need to be caught. And just like be true to yourself. I know this sounds so pre-made, right? But I'm feeling this right now. Oh my god. So, I'm gonna go now. It's been a really long video, and I hope that our journey can be also eye-opening to people. We are always willing to lend a hand, lend a word, and if anyone wants to talk to us and like some proof about what I'm saying, that we were robbed and that everything was taken, blah blah blah. I can show it in private. I'm not gonna post anything here. I have all the invoices, almost all the invoices for everything that was taken, and I will eventually, this is like, I'm not gonna show you the front, for everything that was taken, and some more that I didn't have, because like sometimes we just like buy stuff over the counter, like screws and nuts and bolts, and it's like in a quickie, and we don't ask for invoices, but all those quickies end up summing up. I can't even finish a list of everything that was taken, because every day I remember something new and I feel bad about it, and I don't want to feel like that. I want to feel like there's some hope still, and that some people will gather to help us, even if it's across the world. I started a channel in Portuguese, that's my mother tongue, and I'm gonna try to make this a trilingual channel, Portuguese, Spanish and English. I could also do German, but that would be too much. German people can speak English really well, so so they can watch in English, and if they have questions they can ask. I could also do French, but yeah, again, it would be too much. So my friends, I hope to be posting good news soon, and I hope you can help us also. My family's survival depends on it, because we can't stay here. This is not a good house. Well, it's a good house, but it's not like thermally correct. It's too hot in the summer, it's too cold in the winter. We can't afford the extra electricity to heat up and cool down. My landlords are like great people, really good people, and my neighbors also. They were so worried about us. They ask us every day how we are, how things are going. The first day after everything happened, they were so freaking worried about us. They saw a van speeding through our street, and it was dragging a trailer with a popped wheel, so it was catching fire on the road, and they thought that was so strange. But for some reason they didn't chase it. But then we found the trailer, but it wasn't anything that was ours inside, and we were having so much hope with that trailer. It just had to have one of our things inside. Alas, alas, my friends. So I'll finish this, and I hope you all have a good evening, and that may all of our lives be joyous and full of food. And I mean this like in a permaculture kind of way. Okay? That sounded weird, but yeah, I'm that kind of person that says weird stuff when they're nervous. Sorry, and bye.